Now, the other semi-final between Peter Ebdon and Shaun Murphy, the 22-year-old qualifier, got underway this afternoon. The 2002 champion looked much more fluent and positive and hit his best form of the championship, in fact, racing to a 5-2 advantage. Let's see the last frame of their session then. Dennis Taylor in the box.
One. Bramble. Five.
This will help getting this red away. That was just hampering the black somewhat.
6.
Black back on its spot and still in pretty good shape here. Well, he took the risk of going into the reds, and I don't think he's finished on one.
13.
It just stuck in amongst those three. Much too close to that one. And he can't do a great deal here.
Shaun Murphy, 13.
Very difficult to get the white up to the safety zone. The yellow, green and brown are in pretty good shape to get in behind, but there's no way up there. Coming up to a minute's thinking time, but he is in a bit of a hole here. Now that red has gone towards the middle pocket. Is far from easy. It looks from that angle that it's a straightforward pot, but it's not. Okay, if you're in behind it, you could drop it in, but from where the white is, it's quite difficult. Looks as if he's having a go at this. Screwing the white back though. Where is that white? Oh. He's looking at that red to try and cut it into the left middle pocket. It's quite a thin one. And the fact that he hit it too thin was the reason the white went into the jaws of the corner pocket. So what a chance for Peter Ebdon. .34 the difference, but just look at the reds.
One.
Got a chance of the blue up into the corner.
Six.
The next 8 frames of this match will be played tomorrow morning. A 6-2 lead will be looking good for Peter Ebdon. He really has played superbly well this afternoon.
Seven.
Couldn't have them better placed.
$14. $15. Sure.
Just felt as if he got a little heavy contact there. He's
22.
having the white cleaned again. Just a slight kick there.
$23. $30. $31.
Couple of loose reds, but he's got a nice angle just to nudge one of the two if he wishes. Played it well. And Shaun Murphy, well, he just overcut this.
38.
Watch the white. Had he have potted that red, the white would have went back up towards the yellow. And this will hurt young Shaun here.
$39.
Peter Ebdon's had breaks of 47 and 30 in the opening frame, 78 in frame
44.
3, 70 in frame 4.
45.
52 in frame 6. A 69 in frame 7. That's a pretty high standard. White to be
52.
cleaned again. Quick look at the scoreboard. There's the difference, 18. Two reds, two colours.
$53. 60.
Well, Peter has totally outplayed young
61.
Shaun Murphy in this session, but it's the best of 33. The young man could do the same to Peter tomorrow morning. That makes absolutely sure.
$66. 68. 71.
I think Peter
75.
Ebdon has enjoyed this session. He really has played well.
$80.
It's the best he's cued in the whole of this year's championship. He's not on the black, but he won't bother.
86.
While he is on the black, the flick has put him on it. What a terrific afternoon's play from Peter Ebdon. Shaun Murphy couldn't do much about it. That was a superb 93 break, and it takes Peter Ebdon in winning the session at 6 frames to 2.
Yes, very impressive indeed. John, just sum up the differences between Peter's form last night and the form we saw today.
Well, last night he was positively pedestrian. Today he was very efficient, very fluent, and much better for it. I thought he was excellent in the balls. The score sheet doesn't tell any lies. I think he made a couple of 50s, 3 70s, 80 and a 90. Very, very impressive.
And his highest break last night was 60.
Yeah, but overall very impressive, and the best form he showed this week.
Indeed, it was really very impressive, and those two will be back at it tomorrow morning from 10 o'clock. Thank you very much to Steve and John for your company this evening. We'll be back, though, with a full review of all of today's action at 5 to midnight. It's been a big day for Rotherham's Shaun Murphy. He's trying to become the first man to win a Crucible semi as a qualifier since a certain Terry Griffiths in 1979. Bye for now.
Terry Griffiths defeats the Australian champion to go through into the Embassy final at his first attempt.
In the final, though, you know.
Imagining playing and winning at the Crucible ever since I picked up a cue. When I picked up a cue at 8, I've been dreaming and imagining of walking around the table here, having to pot those pressure balls.
Shaun Murphy.
There's a love that's divine, and it's yours and it's mine, like the sun
So a lot of those balls that I've just potted, I've been potting them for years.
Good evening from the Crucible. This championship and the venue tests anyone. That's whether you're a former world champion or a player that had to get through 2 qualifying rounds to earn a place in the field. That's what Shaun Murphy had to do, and he's through to the semi-finals. The 22-year-old Rotherham-based youngster is in there, and having beaten John Higgins and Steve Davis, former world champions, well, there he is preparing to leave his dressing room for the 3rd session of a match with another former world champion. The prize is a place in the final. Opponent Peter Ebdon is on the other side of the wall in the dressing room along the corridor. He holds the Crucible experience that he's won the title and been runner-up. He's well aware that Shaun is playing the snooker of his life. The 2 players will be out any moment now to play the next 8 frames of the semi-final. Let's try and get slightly ahead of them. And as we make our way towards the Crucible stage, we can try and grab a word with a snooker legend, the multi-title 6-times world champion, Ray Reardon.
Ray, how are you?
Good evening, sir.
Lovely to see you.
What do you make of young Murphy?
Very exciting, yes. He's doing well. Yeah, he's been knocking on the door for quite a few years now. He's gone up in the rankings. He's come from that school of excellence, which seems to be working, so well done, WFA. But he's doing fantastic. 6-2 down, 9-7 up. Well, I don't know what's going to happen now, because I see that Peter's playing much faster now than he did against my boy. So I wonder, will he have to go into a slow mode to beat him? Because maybe that's the only way he's going to beat him. It'll be interesting, won't it, really?
It'll be a very interesting evening. Peter, of course, will treat every frame as if it's a final frame decider. Let's just check on the situation as things stand. (6-2) behind overnight. Shaun was in sensational form at the start of the 2nd session with Peter. 138 clearance signalling his intent. Shaun made it 2 tons in 2 frames and closed the gap to 2. Determined to keep himself in contention, Peter made a crafty 61. It will be his only real contribution to the morning. Frame 13 may be unlucky for some, it was very lucky for others. Just witness this remarkable Shaun Murphy fluke. Another frame to the youngster. But if he had any good fortune, he usually deserved it. His long potting was quite superb. Peter could only sit and watch. Shaun went ahead for the first time in the match by whacking in an 82. And he hit 92 in the last, rounding it off with a quite remarkable fluke on the yellow. But he'd more than earned all of his luck, and the Crucible crowd has a new favourite, it seems, going into tonight's session. He leads 9-7, having won 7 of the 8 frames on offer. First to 17 goes through to the final. 8 frames coming up. Official introductions from Alan Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, first we welcome the 2nd youngest player at the Crucible this year, and this extremely talented young man has defeated 2 former world champions to reach a semi-final place. Will you welcome, please, 22 years of age from Rotherham, Shaun Murphy. Ladies and gentlemen, his tough and determined opponent who's done it and won it before, whose power-packed game is backed up by sheer self-belief, and Ebbo will be given his all to reach his 3rd world final. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome the 2002 Embassy World Champion, Peter Ebdon.
Great crowd inside the Crucible as ever. And in the commentary box, good evening, Willie Thorne and John Virgo.
Good evening, Ray. And, well, I'm just hoping that the standard of snooker we saw this morning from these 2 players, well, got to be honest with you, more from Shaun Murphy, continues tonight. He's closed the gap, he went ahead.
The 17th frame.
And now
Shaun Murphy to break.
This vital 3rd session.
everybody usually has at least one bad session if they get to the final of the Embassy World Championship. You'd have to say that Peter Ebdon already in this tournament's had 2 or 3. And he's still in there battling, and in this match only 9-7 behind.
There's the average shot times, 29 seconds Peter Ebdon, 23 for Shaun Murphy. Could be quite relative that as the evening goes on, because I think Peter would like to slow this game down a little bit. But he played the long pot and missed it by a mile.
Yes, the strange thing with Peter sometimes, he does play these a lot harder than most of the pros. The fact that he caught that a little bit thin, of course, meant the white was running loose around the table.
Foul.
Well, you could say
Peter Ebdon
unlucky,
full.
but really he shouldn't have cannoned into the second red. And that's the reason he went in off. And they get back up the table, but he didn't play to make a contact with that other red. So it was just a bad misjudgment, really.
This may be attempted down the left-hand corner, but the red to the left of the black means the only way he can get on the black is low. So he may be tempted. Well, look at the way he's cueing that. He's playing the safety. Up and down. Good weight.
That was a mistake. And I'll tell you what, he's been a bit fortunate there, because the black has run safe. If that black had stayed in the open, what a chance. So just let us have a look how the black got safe here. Much too thick. cannon into the black. It came across, tied up.
One.
Well, if the pink spot is covered, that will actually help Peter this time, because with the black being out of commission, he'd like the pink to be on that black spot. It might go on. In that case, John, I would suggest go into those two reds. Try and clear the path for the pink in at least one or two pockets.
Thanks.
Queuing low. Let's see if he's playing the cannon. And that's excellent play from Peter Ebdon. Had to do that because he felt that the pink would spot. We felt that the pink would spot. Now, is it in open play
7.
or is it still tied up?
Yes, by the looks of it, he's not brought it out into a potable position. Doesn't go in here. Obviously can't get to it for the left middle. Can't get to it for this corner or that right middle. He was obviously hoping to move the reds just below the pink spot as well. But at least he's got the blue in the open.
Sure. 8.
Paul Collier, just being brought into work early this evening. I wonder how many times he'll do that when Peter's playing. It's not too bad where the pink is, because there's two reds either side. I think the bottom one to the right of the pink will pot. So in a couple of shots' time, you may be able to clear that red out of the way, and that'll bring the pink into play. Just have to avoid the cannon on the green and brown in playing this shot. Well, that's poor, isn't it? It's not settled yet, Peter.
Yes,
there was quite a big gap between brown and green. Just makes this next red more difficult, and of course, position on the colour. Well, I say that, I suppose he could pot the red, the brown's over the far corner pocket, so I suppose it could have worked in his favour. But the red isn't easy, whichever one he decides to play. Where's the cue ball going? Oh.
14.
Well, he's not on the brown, but that's the question. Who's next?
It'd be interesting to see a line here, John. I think this will nearly be unplayable.
Peter Ebdon, 14.
Well, Willie, there's a line.
If it goes on that line, John, I'll give you a tenner. Because the last bit's very tough, isn't it? The last part, but
it is.
I don't know he's going to hit a red. I mean, sorry, I think he will hit a red because he can play it at pacey, but how's he going to get it safe?
I mean, to be fair, I don't really know how much of the side cushion. I don't know how close he is to the brown and whether he can get past the green. If, for example, he could get past the green, then it could be that he could place a drop on a red. The green is really the problem. If he could get the other side of the green, but maybe he can't. He's having to go low on the green. Oh, might get a tenner here, folks. No.
Foul.
It was almost impossible. It was almost impossible to get that safe.
Yes, Shaun's only bit of luck here is the fact that both pink and black are still out of play. It's going to be tough to score heavy.
1.
He needs to get at least 35, 40 points to make the frame safe.
Well, that's good control. I say that.
6.
I just looked at Peter's face, a little bit annoyed. He's just come hampered. He's on this red to the left corner, but he's just hampered by the other red. Makes cueing that a little bit difficult. He'll pot the red, but his position he's after. So he couldn't develop the
7.
pink, as I'm sure he would have done could he got his hand on the flat on the table. So he's on the pink to the left centre, but he's running away from the reds. Well, it's been very warm in Sheffield today. Are the flies out?
Yes, applause there, because it was quite difficult to hold the cue ball there. It was a half ball pink. It would have been very easy to lose the white towards
13.
the side cushion.
$14.
Just over screwed slightly.
20.
So just needing the extension. It shouldn't be a problem. You can just stun the red in, play for the pink into the right centre. And if he gets a nice angle on the pink, after he's potted this red and the pink, he'll be looking to land around about that circle. Because he's got two reds put together, but they both go in the left corner pocket. Well, I was a little bit
21.
surprised. He's decided to screw over it, so he can't play for one of those two reds now. He'll play for the red nearest the cue ball.
$27. 28.
A few moments, I'll put a circle in to be able to get on those two reds. That's roughly it. Maybe a little bit lower than that, but that's where he'll be, the area he'll be playing for.
$34.
Right, 56-point lead. So 2 reds, 2 colours, so he doesn't have to worry about any of the 4 reds that are safe. Just these 2 loose reds, and he's back to within 1 frame,
35.
having lost 5 on the trot in the morning session.
$41. $42.
Frame safe. He's looked at the brown, and he's only looking at the brown because he's thinking, could he get on one of these awkward reds better than he can off the pink? If it wasn't the first frame, I think that even if he doesn't pot a red
48.
here, Shaun Murphy will concede. But the first frame, Shaun may decide to come to the table for a bit of potting practice. That would be in 3 doubles and a treble. I've not had one of them for a long time.
49. Ramble.
A wry smile from Peter. He was playing an exhibition shot there. Now, if you hit the cushion quicker, he just came out too far before the side took hold. He could have almost got up towards the baulk line. Stand by your beds here. We'll be giving this one a little bit of a belt.
Peter Ebdon, 53 on the frame.
Shaun Murphy considers that's more than enough, which it was. So Peter Ebdon, he lost 7 of the 8 frames this morning, but he wins the first this evening and now trails 9 frames to 8. Certainly turned it on this morning as somebody came down with a programme and asked him for his autograph. Shouts of encouragement.
Just check that. Do you know what? There's nobody on that door. Yeah, we need to get somebody up there as soon as we can, all right? Oh, Peter, sorry about that. Frame 20. Peter Ebdon to break.
Peter Ebdon's aim coming into this mini session of 4 would be to win it 3-1 to get level. He now has a chance to win it 4-0 to go 2 clear. What a bonus that would be.
Well, his safety play is leaving a little bit to decide at the moment. We're talking about he doesn't get in the frames early, and that's why. And his safety success at the moment is just plummeting and plummeting. It's now down as low as 73%. So nearly out of every 10, he's leaving 3 times, he's leaving a pot on. That's not good at this level. This time it hasn't cost him. I don't think he can get through to this red that's closest to the right corner. If that's the case, I just don't think he can get enough of the left-hand edge of that red to cut it in. So it means that Peter Ebdon has left nothing. Now he's got his hand on the table, he's not far. Let's see if he can play a good safety shot here and find that baulk cushion. Not a bad length, not great, but he did knock a red over towards the right corner.
Yes, no problem with the first gap. He'll virtually go over the black spot if he plays his plain ball, but he'll do well to avoid the cannon on the red that's tight on that left-hand cushion. Just keep an eye on the cue ball here. That's the line the cue ball will be taking if he gets near the pot. Well, he didn't get near the pot. I need to kiss the red. I thought he might kiss that over the pocket. I think he would have done if he'd have potted it or got near the pot.
There's a long pot missed, and on the face of it, nothing easy left. Well, that was a poor safety shot from Peter. I mean, his safety stat isn't much better than Shaun's. I mean, Shaun at 74%, Peter at 77%. But has he left anything? He has.
Yes, I had the pleasure of commentating on first-class snooker now for about the last 8 or 10 years, and never, and I mean never, have I seen 2 first-class players with both of them down in the 70s on the safety. And that's why I think we're getting so many breaks. We've had a break of 40 or above in every frame, because both players are having so many chances.
Eight. Nine. $15. $16. 23.
Just have to play for this red in the same pocket. Now he'll be looking for a good angle on the black to
31.
try and disturb that cluster behind the pink. Once again, stunning around the back. Now, what sort of an
32.
angle have he got? Looks pretty good to me. Needs him to break nice. Is he on anything? He's okay. He's okay. For a moment I didn't think he was on one, but he is.
39.
Doesn't he generate a lovely amount of cue power, John? Look at the way that the whites come almost like he'd been playing with topspin there. He generates so much spin on his screw shots.
Yes, you see that with Ronnie O'Sullivan, but he doesn't stop at the ball, does he? He gets the cue right through the cue ball. That's how you get your top spin, back spin, side spin.
And those who've been watching this wonderful championship of ours, when we look at the likes of Alan McManus.
Foul.
Goodness me, that's careless. I was going to say he doesn't generate spin.
Shaun Murphy 39, Peter Ebdon 4.
What on earth was he thinking of there? That is the most elementary mistake you can make in snooker. Pop the ball and run through and off.
And just to explain in detail there, players when they're straight can what they call pinch the pocket and try and pop the red in the left-hand side of the pocket or the right-hand side to avoid the in-off. And as John said, to go in-off is just, well, it's impossible from that distance. Players of that class can easily nip the pocket and just totally miss judgment.
Well, he spurned a great opportunity there, and Peter Ebdon, he's going to go for a long red. I don't know which one, but if it goes in, and he wins this fourth frame, the last one before the mid-session interval, all that good work that Shaun Murphy put in this morning will be a distant memory.
Well, the way he's queuing up, John, is he playing the pot and cannon into the three reds to bring those into play? The way he's queuing at it, that's the angle the white's going. This is aggressive if he's playing that. And he was playing that. Phew, that was so dangerous. I think what he did there, John, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, because Shaun Murphy played such an elementary shot, he was trying to punish him and win the frame at one visit.
Well, I just can't believe the choice of shot. I really can't. And we mentioned a few moments ago that there's been lots of high breaks because the players are getting so many chances. That was an amazing choice of shot from Peter. We think, well, maybe he'll be able to use his experience against Shaun Murphy. There was no experience shown there, was there? What a gift he's given the young man.
8. Nine. Sixteen. $17.
Well, it'd be nice now if he could pop the black and just cannon the red. Just cannon that red, it'll make the other two reds available. We got into a little bit too much, but no problem. No problem. He's drawn a red to the right corner, one to the right middle.
24.
He's 59 points in front, and boy, did he need this frame.
$25.
Just one more red needed.
$30.
As always,
31.
the Crucible crowd realise when the opponent needs snookers, hence the loud applause for a relatively straightforward red. Apart from the first frame, it's been a session that Shaun Murphy could have won 3-1, and he's obviously lost it 3-1. But what a
35.
match, 10-all. I know there was a flood of money for Shaun Murphy when the prices
36.
came up at 4-6 or 4-7 in some places, Ebdon. Thousands of pounds are bet on Murphy to win this match. It's still too close to call for me.
Yes, I think this is a match that could definitely go all the way. I mean, we've seen mistakes made. Obviously, the pressure of a world semi-final.
39 on the
Shaun
frame.
Murphy's
Shaun
highest
Murphy.
break this session has only been 39, but he did it twice in that frame. And what an important time to do it. He levels the match at 10-all.
Shaun Murphy to break.
Mid-session interval over. 4 more frames to be played this evening. Shaun Murphy will have felt a little bit happier winning that last frame before the mid-session interval. Peter Ebdon, well, 6-2 in front he was overnight, 9-7 behind, coming into this evening's session. We've got a match on.
Nicely cued that. Very close to the pot. You always play him at this kind of weight because what you want to do is finish low on the black so you're not leaving an easy red should you bounce on and off the cushion. Oh, that looked, at first glance, that looked very...
Thank you.
Well, let's have a look at this. It looked as though he was going to knock the red in the middle. Good pot from Peter, that. A bit of pressure on those. It wasn't the most comfortable cueing. Good hit. Nicely on a baulk colour.
The two directly above the black, he'd like to finish on both of those if he can, but I think the angle he has on the green, he can't necessarily screw up the line. Just played for the loose red in the middle because the positional purposes for the two above the black were slightly more difficult than that.
4. Five.
That's where he'd like to be, but he's come a little bit straight on this blue. That circle would be ideal position for a choice of reds to the left corner. I don't think he can get there now. He's on the line of the circle. That was an excellent shot. Deep screw. And he's got these choice of reds now.
$11.
That took off on the cushion now. Whether that was Peter just generating a little bit more backspin than normal or the cushion bouncing,
18.
the jury's out.
Well, it's not been bouncing any time during the match. Maybe it's certainly bemused Peter. I think it was a little bit of adrenaline. He's in a good position. Not now.
Peter Ebdon, 18.
Attempted a difficult long red. Couldn't recover the situation. And he's left a chance of a long pot for Shaun Murphy. Isn't far away, this.
One.
Yeah, that was good to see. He got down then to play that brown. I was just going to say, well, it's not going to be easy to get on the next red. So you just give it a little second thought. In the end, decided to play the green and go into them. Well, he's unlucky. He looked to have hit them absolutely perfect.
4.
Well, how unlucky was this? He couldn't have hit them better than that. Look at the red spread perfectly. Unlucky.
He's got a tricky red to the left centre, and I think he's eyeing it up. It's a dangerous shot, but it's the way he plays the game. It's entertaining. It's exciting. Close. But
Shaun Murphy,
close
4.
enough. After the shot from the green, he deserves to be on something a little easier than that. good opening red from Peter. And it was Shaun Murphy who opened the reds. They're now ideally situated for a frame-winning contribution.
Five.
Well, what a miss that was.
Peter Ebdon, 5.
No excuse for that one, Peter. And a run round maybe with a bit of side. Well, not side, I don't think. It's just plain ball. He's let Shaun Murphy off the hook there.
Yes, both these players sometimes appear to hit the ball harder than others. He stayed down a long time there. Maybe he thought it was going to catch the left-hand jaw and not go in. But the pace he played it, the pocket took it.
There's a red that he would like to get on as soon as possible. It will clear a path for the black into both corner pockets. This looks perfect.
And I think it's really important the way that John put the circle up there, because that's the one red that can make you win the frame at one visit. Once that's out of the way and the blacks are well in both corner pockets, that's why John shouted it, just to make you realise how important it is as early as possible to free the black. I haven't had a break over 40. In the last frame, the frame 20, where there was 2 breaks of 39, is the only frame in this match where there hasn't been a break over 40. This is a great chance to score heavily.
13. $20. 21.
That was the cannon that now gives him a straight run to the winning line in this frame.
28.
Couldn't be better situated.
29. $36. 37. 44.
Shaun Murphy won 5 frames on the trot to end the morning session. Peter Ebdon opened with 3 frames on the trot to start the evening session. This is a possibility of 2 on the trot for Shaun Murphy. So the pattern of the match continuing where players appear to be winning frames in blocks.
45.
So he's 26 in front. Needs 2, maybe all 3 reds really to be absolutely sure.
Well, 32 points in front. He won't need the 3rd red. Just look at it now, will it? 2 reds, 2 colours would be enough. But of course, the one that's near the green
52.
can't go in that middle pocket because of the green. And he won't want to risk playing the green. I'm trying to get on that red. He doesn't need it. Well, he's obviously come too straight on the pink. Quick glance at the scoreboard. Goes the pink. He just needs the red now. And he couldn't have played that much better. That was lovely cueing. Another glance
58.
at the scoreboard. 39 points in front. The red to go 40 in front with only 35 left.
$59.
Yes, Ray, and you just get here as Shaun Murphy is going to get his nose in front once again. He's now 43 points
62.
in front and there's only 35 left on the table. And that red just underlines that this frame is over. It was all presented
63.
to Shaun Murphy by a very easy miss by Peter Ebdon. And that was the red.
68.
And he missed that. And this break is the result.
70. $73.
Just can't make the century. 95 he can get to.
77.
Having lost the first 3 frames this evening, you were beginning to wonder if Peter Ebdon was just starting to get on top again. You've
82.
seen the 20th frame, which was a key one he desperately needed to win.
$88.
Back in front. He was handed the chance by Peter Ebdon to Shaun Murphy. 22 years of age, not being phased. He now leads once again. This time 11-10. Yeah, that's for
Thinking you're in with a top chance tomorrow.
Well, at least not be behind.
Let's get back to the commentary box.
Yes, very interesting, Ray, the comments from the players. But it's the safety that seems to be letting Shaun Murphy down at the moment. Poor break-off shot. Red left on to the left centre. Nice easy starter for Peter.
1.
Nicely played. Here's the break-off shot. Caught that in red. Too full. That means it goes up the table.
Eight. Nine.
This time going into the tightly grouped bunch is not so good. Probably the loose red, if he hits that half ball, that'll help. He could roll it in for that red, but you know, he could have to then force it through the bunch again. Let's see what kind of angle he's got on this red. At first glance, I wasn't sure he could finish low enough on this red.
16.
But he has. Now, he's not guaranteed to get onto the black here. He'll be playing with a lot of pace. Two ways of playing it, either screw back off the bunch or run through with topspin off the bunch. But you could go in off. Played it nicely.
17.
Yes, judged the follow through. At least a couple of reds. Oh, and he played that nice little cannon, leave himself on a red to the left corner.
24.
There was an example of how difficult it is sometimes to run off balls. You can see he's finished a foot further than he wanted to there. He'd like the white to stop about there, but it's round on another foot. Okay, the black's relatively straightforward, but to hold for a red, he's going to have to play it into the bunch. If he rolls it in dead weight, he'll be up near the blue spot area, or the middle pocket area. So cannon needed.
Good pot. Got the cannon.
32.
And released a few more reds. Heart might have been in the mouth when he saw the pink going towards the left middle, but no danger.
$33.
Low once again on the black. He may decide to play another cannon. Can't see how he can just roll the black in and be on a red.
Yes, I agree, John. I hope he doesn't screw into the bunch this time, because he could screw off the bunch. The stun into the bunch is always the better one when they're like this. Just play to just nudge one out. Now, if he's on the bottom red of the bunch, that's good. I'm surprised, honestly, he didn't play it a little bit harder than that to give himself a chance.
40.
So any chance of a maximum now appears to be very, very tough.
Yes, the first 5 reds with blacks. He could play this red closest to the cue ball into the far right corner. Peter has made maximums in match play. But the most important thing in his mind is win this frame, because whoever wins this frame cannot be behind going into the final session tomorrow. Left middle it is.
Ideally, he'd have liked to have been on the blue because it's
41.
such a perfect pack to go into, but he's just finished a little bit short. So he's going to have to take the pink and play for that one loose red. If it had been a bit higher, he'd have played the blue straight into the bunch.
Pink spot is not available. And then when we say as close to its own spot as you can go in a direct line with the middle of the top cushion, you see there why. Referee Paul Collier has just found a gap.
47.
Well spotted.
Could play for the loose one, could go into them, decided on the loose one.
53.
Sometimes you don't get chances to go into them if you keep diffusing chances. Now, if Pete slightly mishit this red and finished straight on the black, it could be end of break, and he still needs another couple of reds. And this is why we always talk about the likes of the O'Sullivans and the Hendrys, the Mark Williamses and the Higginses, Paul Hunters. Whenever they get a chance to open them, they open them. Will it haunt him after this shot? Let's just see if he finishes straight. No, he's okay.
54.
But he's still going to have to rely on a bit of luck when he goes into these.
He's got one for the left corner, and he's developed
61.
a couple more reds, and that's all he's looking for. For example, 2 more reds, 2 blacks would be more than enough to win this frame. And as I say, what this actually means, if Peter wins this frame, he goes 12-11 in front. There's one more frame to play this evening. So he's got that nice little thought. He can't go behind going into the last session, but he has a chance of taking into that final session a 2-frame lead. So at the moment, it's Peter Ebdon with all the positive thoughts.
Wouldn't that just be amazing, John? Win the first session 6-2, lose this next session 7-1.
69.
And the possibility of winning this session 6-2 again. It's the most wonderful game that we play, this game called snooker.
70.
There you see it, 77 ahead, 67 remaining. Nicely on a red to the right corner. I don't think Shaun Murphy will be coming back to the table in this frame.
78.
Peter would like a century break. Flick on the pink, or the red after potting the pink has not
84.
helped. We're struggling to keep this break going now. playing a double. Red to the left centre. Not quite there, but he's
Peter
more
Ebdon,
than
84
done
on the
enough.
frame.
Shaun Murphy stays in his seat. Peter Ebdon goes ahead at a vital time. 12 frames to 11.
Well, John, it's been such a topsy-turvy match, but I think it all boils down to the safety and even the break-off. You've got to consider the break-off as a safety shot, John, haven't you? Because obviously you never try to leave a red on. So we're in the position, it's something that he's played probably a million times, and he's only a young man at 22, but one thing you don't do is leave the white on and off the cushion or short, and the red coming up into play. And he's made that break, John, off that break-off shot.
Yes, well, the break-off shot is the easiest safety shot you ever have to play. You can get your hand on the table, you put the cue ball anywhere in the D. We've all done it. How costly it was, though. Anyway, as we say, this is the last frame coming up now. And Shaun Murphy level, or will Peter Ebdon take a 2-frame advantage into the final session? And, well, 2 frames, that's a fair lead. First to 17, remember.
He's came into this session this evening trailing 9-7, so his
final
aim
frame of
would
this
have been
session.
to win the session
Peter Ebdon to
5-3.
break.
That's now a certainty. To win it 6-2 is such a bonus. Well, it's Ebdon's turn to bring the red up. Has he left the red on? Is it cuttable? Can he see it? He can't see it. It's a poor break.
A little bit of pressure on this safety shot for Shaun, because if he doesn't get a good length, he could leave the red onto the left middle. Got to catch these reds just right. He's going to kiss the brown, is it? Ooh, he flicked the brown. It's not bad now.
I can't remember the last time, John, that somebody, after a safety shot, played safe. That's how bad the safety has been in this match. Is this going to be the first time for quite some time that the safety shot's being played back-to-back without a pot being attempted? He's looking at the potting angle, but I don't think he can get through to it. I don't know whether Peter's just thinking whether he's got enough to hit of this red just to screw back into balk. We're surely not thinking of cutting it in. No, he's just playing safe, but that's the first time for a long, long time we've had 2 safety shots on the trot. And unlikely to have 3.
Terrific pot. And he was unlucky. He kissed the second red. If he catches it full ball, he'd have been plumb on the black.
I think the pace he's played it, John, he's certainly played that, hasn't he, to kiss them both?
Oh. Well, if you saw our highlights early on this evening, some of the blues he's knocked in this match, in comparison, that was over the pocket.
And the worrying sign was it wasn't even close. Just needs to really gather his thoughts now. If he does get another, he's not bound to get another chance in this frame, but if he does, he really needs to gather his thoughts and put that to the back of his mind. He's been very good at that all week. Goodness me. It reminds me of the O'Sullivan game at the minute with Peter. Sometimes he cues so far across the ball, it's unbelievable.
But how long was he down on the shot? And there's something wrong with his alignment to miss a shot like that. It was a straight shot. He was doing nothing with the cue ball. Now what's he left? Does it go? Just, I think it does, you know. Just off the right jaw. It's got to be very accurate. It's there.
1.
So that mistake from Peter Ebdon could be very costly and just the tonic that Shaun Murphy needs.
It's been an amazing session. There's been a break of 95 from Murphy, there's been a break of 84 from Peter Ebdon. Both times they haven't got in on their own merits. It's been
8.
A bad shot from their opponent.
9.
All 8 frames could have gone either way.
The 2 reds just to the left of the black, he'd love to get those out of the way if he could. I think only one of them goes, but I think he can just roll it in, and I think
16.
he can stay straight enough on the black. Yes, it was inch perfect.
17.
Now I would suggest now that all the young man has got to do is hold himself together. He's done it so far in this tournament. He's performed with great credit, but there's a little bit of pressure on him here.
I think on reflection, John, of the 3 sessions we've had, I think 12-12 is a fair scoreline.
24.
Just not perfect here. They have to play the red to the left centre and play for the blue. You just want to take any risks if you can avoid it. Obviously he's not nice on the red, so he can play for the black. This could be the key positional shot here. This could be a key shot. Too far for the
25.
blue. Well, I say too far for the blue. It's a thin potting angle you wouldn't really want. So he was nicely around the black, and it's just run out of control now. He's having to play a baulk colour and back for the reds. Good shot.
A lot better strike, that, wasn't it? You heard the noise of the shot there. He really hit it crisply. And the
28.
beauty of it was the pace. You could tell that went in, and you could see the spin on the cue ball. He timed that to perfection. Some of his long pots, he's missed time for me. He hit them too hard.
29.
Couldn't have hit that one better.
$36. $37.
There's his coach. It's not much fun sometimes watching. Stay abreast. This is a very big frame for young Shaun Murphy.
Yeah, sure.
he was given the chance. You've got to say that.
43.
Peter with a straightforward red just to stun it in and have the pink to the right centre. And obviously didn't align himself correctly, but why not, you ask? That is amazing.
If you had a choice, John, you'd favour the alignment rather than putting a bit of side on that, would you?
Oh yes, I think with a straight shot, if you hit the cue ball in the middle, I'm certain that's all he was trying to do, hit the object ball in the middle. It should go in, so for me, he didn't get right behind the line of the shot. Okay, he may have flicked a bit of unintentional side, but it's not as if he was playing it with any power. Just
51.
trying to float it in.
Just slightly overscrewed that black. This is, you'd like a better angle than this. He's going to have to punch it in. Played it nicely, that. That was a good shot, because we've seen a lot of those missed.
53 points in front. He can win this without opening those cluster of 4. But he felt it was the right time to do it. He'd have been very unlucky not to be on 1.
59.
So he needs red, colour, and 1 more red to take us into tomorrow's
60.
final session, all square. And I would suggest, don't miss that one. It's got the makings of a classic.
Just the red. And a quick chat about tomorrow's session, John. I think whoever plays
66.
the best safety will win. I don't think it's about the break building tomorrow, it's the safety. You would favour Ebdon in that department, but not in the match so far. Both have struggled. That's frame ball.
67.
And this young man is showing experience beyond his age, really. It's unbelievable the number of times he's had to dig so deep. Go back to when he was 3-0 behind against Higgins. Did a 50 clearance
74.
to make it 3-1 and ended up beating John Higgins. 6-2 behind after the first session. Found his best form to win the second session 7-1. Was 5-2 behind tonight. Had to win the last frame. And look what he's done. 75 and counting. You have to take your hat off to this young man. He's a class act.
Yes, we've known about him for a few years. His name was
82.
mentioned in dispatches. He's coming of age in this Embassy World Championship.
83.
And a good chance now to finish off with a century.
And it will be his third of the match. Started the match with, or the second session with 2 centuries. Can he finish the third session
90.
with a century?
$91. 98. 99.
Wonderful break. Deserves a century, this break. Very well done. That's his 7th Crucible century. And I think Ernie McCulloch has the same number.
107.
So we've had 2 rookies, as far as not top 16 players. McCulloch on 7 centuries. Young Shaun Murphy on 7. And I'm sure more to come from both players.
$114.
Little exhibition shot there.
119.
An extremely enjoyable session of snooker. The safety was poor, the break building was good. And what a finish. Shaun Murphy with a break of 132 total clearance. We're going to be in for a cracker tomorrow with 12 all. Make sure you watch this one.
And as Willie said, that match concludes tomorrow afternoon on BBC One. You can see it in grandstand. Well done, both players.
Well, another fantastic match, and you've got to say these two players are really playing great under the severest pressure, the pressure that only the Embassy World Championship can supply. Great clearance there by Shaun Murphy. Marvellous before from Peter Ebdon, but Peter Ebdon in some respects has been the sort of the controlling influence in this match, only from the point of view. He's the one that's been a bit inconsistent. When he's been consistently potting the balls, it's been him dominating, but Shaun Murphy's hard to keep under wraps.
John, what's your assessment of what we've seen this evening?
Great, absolutely great. I mean, under the circumstances and the pressure, echo everything Steve said there, to be honest with you, to be able to play like that. Ebdon's 80-odd break the frame before was superb, and then to finish with 133 from Shaun Murphy, what a great replay.
Yeah, when the youngster gets a question asked of him, he seems to find the right answer, doesn't he? Lost the first 3 frames, steadied himself, and then we saw what happened.
He's got it all, I think. I don't think there's any doubt of that. He's certainly a player for the future. He's a player at the moment, of course, but he's definitely one of the future. He's got a lot.
And both players are showing each other sort of the respect that's earned and deserved, because Peter is a wily campaigner, and we know that he'll treat every frame like it's a black ball decider.
Yes, and it's set up beautifully, and it's got 17-16 with drama written all over it. If this doesn't go somewhere close to the end, I'll be astonished.
Is that the way you see it too, John? Absolute cert to go all the whole way.
Well, it looks like it. Every time one player pulls slightly ahead, the other one keeps coming back, so he could be right for once.
Well, that's the story in that semi-final.
Ladies and gentlemen, first we welcome the youngest player left in the tournament, an extremely talented 22-year-old who's defeated 2 world champions on his way to today's semi-final. Will you welcome, please, from Rotherham, Shaun Murphy. Ladies and gentlemen, his tough and determined opponent who knows what's required to win the title, and Ebbo will be giving his all to reach his 3rd world final. Will you welcome the 2002 Embassy World Champion, Peter Ebdon.
Good afternoon, Ray, and what a fascinating final session we're in for here. Customary
Thank you, the 25th
handshake,
frame.
and
Shaun
off
Murphy
we
to
go.
break.
Going to be difficult to pick a winner of this one, Willie.
I think John Parrott summed it up beautifully there. You know, saying that it's not necessarily standard of play today, it's getting over the line. Shaun Murphy, never been in this position before. Peter Ebdon many times. Will that be the telling factor?
And straight away, Peter Ebdon can have a go at this red to the right corner. He can get around the back of the black. Be nice to knock this one in to start the session.
mistake, but can Shaun Murphy get through to any of the ones near the black? He can get to the one in the baulk area, but I think he may have covered things at this end. Just the one in baulk.
One.
Well, he can pot the yellow, although he's very close to it. Just enough for him to not push the white onto the yellow. So easy to play a push shot from this position, but just okay.
Foul.
Well, he declared a foul on himself. It didn't. Well, Peter Ebdon acknowledging that, but it didn't look like a push, but this young man, he's such a great sport, he felt that he pushed that and declared it on himself. Looked to be okay, Will.
We might get a chance to look at that again. I'm not sure whether I saw the white actually wobble, which means he probably did hit it twice, but I didn't spot it, nor did the referee. Only Shaun Murphy felt it. And we had to see it in slow motion, didn't we, to notice anything?
One.
Let's just have a look at this here. Yeah, the tip, the white and the yellow were in contact at the same time.
Peter Ebdon won.
Hasn't been a great deal of tactical play in this semi-final. Peter set off with a terrific session, and young Shaun Murphy came right back, but some terrific break building has gone on, but it might get a little bit more tactical with it being the final session and they're all square.
Target slightly bigger now in behind the yellow and green, so he can play two cushions and try and get in behind them.
He got it exactly where you mentioned, Willie. Okay, it's not a snooker, but it's good enough because the brown's in an awkward position. If he plays off the reds here, he can cannon the brown. So he just needs a slightly thinner contact to get back up to the baulk area. super shot there. Now have a look at this. I mean, that was a terrific escape.
Even though he's pushed the red over the corner, the fact that it's finished right on top of the green, he can just about probably hit centre ball, which means he might take this on. But the green's going to be right in his mind when he's cueing at this one.
If the black goes into the right corner, it's worth taking that one on, and it does. You would think he'd go with this one.
Now, can he hit centre ball striking? Yes, he can. At first glance, it looked like that could be a plant in the right-hand corner, but Shaun's taking the long one. He might split these two reds I was talking about now, so we'll never know.
It's gone a bit awkward with the reds all to the right of the black there, and brown up this end of the table, but he can get in behind the yellow and green again off the end red, the one he's playing. And he didn't attempt to get over behind the yellow and green. That tells you that he didn't really want to open the reds up. He kept it thin so that he wouldn't push any of the reds out and sacrificed the chance to get over where Shaun Murphy's pointing his cue there.
Peter refused the snooker in behind yellow and green last time. The fact that he can get his hand on the table now, I would think it's almost certain to try and get in behind the yellow this time. Just a little bit of left-hand side needed just to widen the angle of this cross double he's playing. There's the cue ball with a little bit of side. Unfortunate, I think he's kissed the yellow at it. No, he hasn't. What a great effort.
Big problem for Shaun now because of the red over the corner pocket. Okay, he's not snookered. But if he was to play down the table off the red that you can see there, he'd have to get a very good cue ball. And he might plant the black towards the corner pocket here. He's played this well. quite straight on this. You have to force it to make an angle. Just the slightest of angles there.
I don't know how he managed to miss the double kiss there once the red had jawed. The white and the red missed each other going back by an absolute fraction. Just what happens, watch what happens to the red and the white here. How did they miss each other? Shaun looks like he's taking the long one on. I was just about to say those players have not settled as yet, but that could help.
He did get a heavy contact, but what a fluke that was. Yeah, you could see the red jump off the cloth, but that's a bit of a bonus. Well, it would be nice if he could get onto the black. There is a gap there that he could leave the white in, but he's just checking the pink, see if it would be available, but needs a bit of sorting out. This is not a good chance yet. But there you can see where he's pointing the tip of the cue there. Could leave himself a choice of pink or black.
Seven.
This final session of this semi-final now, it's really right underway, and this is the first chance for anybody to score heavily.
$13. $14.
Just a wee bit short. Another inch or two and he was perfect.
21.
I know you were working on this match last night, Willie. I got back to the hotel and watched the last frame, and that break, was it a 1-3-2 or a 1-3-8 he made, was terrific.
Yes, it was a 1-3-2 and he was 12-11 behind, and we were just thinking, well, is he kind of losing his stranglehold on this match? But another example on this pot here, how confident the young man is. And to make a 1-3-2 to level was top draw. That was a good ready potted there as well. So to avoid the brown, if you place to pot the green, and that shouldn't be a problem. There's a couple of reds that are at either side of the black that he can get on.
Got it too close to the jaws of the pocket. He still got the pot on, but he wanted to be further out off the cushion and in behind
25.
that red. It's to the left of the black. He's having to work hard up and down
26.
the table with his positional play. But this Crucible crowd certainly have warmed to this young man. And I think it's the way he plays the game. He's quick around the table, he's very attacking. And I think the way he interviews, he's very eloquent and he's becoming very popular, Willie.
Yes, the surprise, as we've said many times on commentary, Dennis, is why has it taken him so long? We've known about this young man now for 5 or 6 years.
28.
Seems to play all his best snooker when there's a big crowd. In the qualifiers, he's lost some players you wouldn't think he was capable of losing to. But these qualifiers, there's so many good players out there. Not as many as good as this young man, but there's quite a few other very talented players that we never see.
$29.
Now, if you can get the cannon right in the middle of the reds and pink, he'd be perfect here. Played it well.
$36.
Yes, that last shot where he split those 4 reds, he can now win the frame by tossing the loose reds. He doesn't have to worry about the ones on the cushion. Excellent chance to go 13-12 in front.
$42. $43. $50. $51.
And there's his coach, Steve Prest, on the right. He's in the practice room just before the session started, and they were both very relaxed. In fact, I was talking to John Powell. We're talking about having a game of golf in the morning, Willie, and Shaun said, well, now you've played golf and you haven't told me you were
54.
playing this week. I said, I think you've got a few other things on your mind, Shaun. Never mind golf. He's a pretty good golfer, though. Single figures. I think he's 4 or 5 handicap.
Yeah, I think he did tell me he was 6, but
55.
single figures is excellent. His father, I believe, was a very, very good golfer as well. Tony, I believe, was a pro at one time, so he's had good coaching.
And as usual, the crowd, and that's Tony next to
62.
that lovely young lady there on the left. That's Tony Murphy, who works for the association, and Shaun's dad. Well,
Shaun Murphy, 62.
the 62 break, you would think, would be enough for Shaun Murphy to take this frame. If the red had have dropped, Peter Ebdon would have conceded.
One.
Yes, Peter has decided he has no chance in this opening frame of this session. It's young Shaun Murphy with the aid of that 62 break that takes it. He's back in the lead at 13-12.
Thank you to 27th frame. Shaun Murphy to break.
Bit short with the break-off shot. But I think has the green come to the rescue? Don't think he can get the potting angle. Clearly you can see that. So it was a poor break-off shot, but he's got away with it.
Not many players play the safety that way, but when you put a red in baulk, I suppose it's a clever little shot, because it takes the running into baulk out of the equation with the red up there.
What Shaun's looking at here, if he comes off that red side cushion, if he leaves the white up there, the brown would snooker the red to the right of the table, and the yellow would snooker the red to the left of the blue. And can he get the shot that he wants to play? Can he judge it?
Certainly playing to cover it with the brown, but decided against the covering one behind the yellow. He has covered that red behind the brown, so good shot.
Well, I have a sneaky feeling that Peter will have a go at this red to the left of the blue, because he could finish on the black, and the only ball he could leave would be the one he's taking on.
He hasn't got a great record of queuing down on balls in this tournament. He hasn't played anywhere near his best, and this is one of his worst shots this week. Look at that, a foot away. Every time he's queued down on a ball, he's been, well, miles away.
Yeah, I thought he would have rolled it. He could still have got up to the black, but once you raise the butt of the cue in the air, on these fine cloths, really, as you know, they just bounce around.
That's that. Or is it? Oh, it just seemed to dive to the cushion there. I thought it was in the centre when he hit it. At that pace, though, I don't think it could roll off at that pace. It was just a optical illusion. Did I think it was in there? I did. No damage done.
Can I go out for a moment?
A bit of a frog in the throat there. He may have to go for a little drink of water. Having a bit of trouble out there at the minute, Peter.
Yeah, I think something must have gone down the wrong way, because he just seems to be, I mean, just a little bit of a problem there with his chest.
Well, another example of a good fortune there. I mean, okay, this red is possible, but it could have been a lot easier than this. And across the nap, it's only about a 50-50 if he takes it on. If that cue ball had been off the cushion a bit more, he would have taken this on confidently. It's tough from there. One just below the blue will cut. That's an option.
Just wondering, that one you mentioned, Will, he's looking to see if he could take it up past the blue into the corner. He's got a choice, hasn't he, the middle of the corner. I think he's probably thinking about if I take it on, where can I get on the colour without leaving a red?
I think he's dying to take one on though, Dennis. You can just see it in his face. He realises that he's going to have to make a move, try and get back into this match. Very good effort, just short of pace. Another foot, that would have been perfect.
Foul. Peter Ebdon 1, Shaun Murphy 7.
Well, it's cost him 7. With not reaching the black, it's a free ball, but it all doesn't mean very much because it's just a straightforward escape off the side cushion and into the bunch. So.
Technically, yeah.
He just said, can I have the balls replaced? But I think not, Shaun, because you might just run up behind the black right the second time. Just wasting a bit of shoe leather here. I'd like to bet about 100 on it, puts him back in again.
Yeah, much better to come off the right side of the table as we look at it and just land on the reds. If you go the other side, you could leave a pot on. If he just nestles into the reds, he wouldn't leave one. He's looking at the left side of the table. More chance of leaving one going this way. Has to be slightly more accurate. Well, that would be a bit ambitious, Shaun. You've got to use the white. He's just queuing up the red at the other red. That tells us that he's thinking about taking a plant on and screwing back for the black. But okay, it might be a shot to nothing, so it might be worth risking, but what a shot if he pulls it off. Got a good white, though.
I can understand him going for the plant if he was playing for the black. I can't understand him going for the plant if he wasn't. He could have flicked off the bunch and just left the cue ball there anyway.
Touching ball.
It's amazing, this session, that each frame the reds are going up the other end of the table, which is making them rather awkward frames.
This is an aggressive shot, isn't it? It's going to open the lot up here, trying to screw back to ball. Sorry, to the back cushion. Well, he hasn't screwed back. Shaun will take one on here somewhere, I'm sure. Now, is the one available a bit straightforward?
Do you know, there might be a gap through to that one over the middle pocket, and if he can get through to that one, well, there you clearly see it. What a chance for Shaun Murphy. That was a poor shot from Peter there, not to bring the white back.
Yes, he's struggling, isn't he, Peter Ebdon? No break over 30 yet this afternoon. They've had a couple of chances. That was strange. I thought he'd run through on and off the cushion, but he's decided to hold it. A little bit to do with blue or yellow. The fact that the red's near the pocket there makes the yellow a little bit easier.
Bit straight on the red, but potted the yellow with the rest, and his success rate's been pretty good. He's played 32 shots with the rest, and he's potted 30 of them. Well, that was a great shot there. Not so much the pot, but the white with the side he had on it. That was terrific.
Yes, when we first saw the white, Dennis, I thought he hadn't got any side on, but it really bit nicely off the cushion.
I mean, he's absolutely dead straight, but just watch the white as it hits the cushion. Now watch the angle it takes.
7.
Top drawer there.
Oh, blue, pink and black in open play.
8.
Plenty of reds at this end. It's hard to see how he's not going to score plenty from here. Obviously nerves. At some stage, Shaun Murphy may possibly suddenly start thinking about getting into the final of the Embassy World Championship. And this is the kind of situation where you could get excited, thinking, well, I'm sure to win the frame from here, and then you play something careless. I hope it doesn't happen, because he's played very well.
$13. 14.
'Cause just playing to screw it back onto the cushion and didn't get the backspin required. But Shaun Murphy showing great maturity.
21.
But it makes it even more
22.
fascinating just to see if he can hold himself together. Because this is new territory for the young man. But isn't he coping well?
Just slightly too high.
29.
The natural angle is going to kiss the black. You may have to just put a little bit of left-hand side on this shot with the rest. As Dennis mentioned a few moments ago, got a great success rate with the rest, but when you're playing with the side, a lot more difficult. Plain ball would kiss the black, so a little bit of left needed.
$30. 37.
Terrific atmosphere in the Crucible Theatre this afternoon. Absolute silence on the shot. And you can't get better than this. A young player up against one of the established players, former Embassy World Champion. Doesn't get any better than this. It's a bit like When I used to watch the darts,
46.
Willie, I used to love to see Eric Bristow or Jockey Wilson and see the young rookie trying to beat them.
You can't be anything else but impressed with this performance. Having been 11-10 in front and lost 2 frames on the trot, he then had breaks of 132, 62, 47, and now 53 in this game, and possibly a few more to come, maybe a frame-winning proportion. To win 4 frames on the trot with frame-winning breaks is really excellent.
$54.
So he needs one more red, and just wait to hear the Crucible crowd. If he puts the red, they know that Peter Ebdon will need a snooker, and the applause is because you've got to the snooker's required stage. They're so knowledgeable these days.
$61.
Shaun made a century in the last frame of the previous session. This is the last frame of the first 4 before the first interval. And the only interval, of course, in this match now. Can he get another century?
65.
He's already made 3 in this match.
$72.
Well, he won't be too bothered about missing that long red. What a terrific performance from young Shaun Murphy. We've played 3 frames in this session, and he's won all 3. You can't do better than that. He leads 15-12.
Thank you. The 28th frame. Thank you. Peter Ebdon to break.
Yes, nothing potted yet. A couple of good safeties and an attempt at a red that you just missed before you came to us. That Peter's got a good cue ball, but there is a red potable, and he'll be taking it on. So that's the first chance in this frame for Shaun Murphy. Beautiful. Beautiful. He doesn't appear frightened to win at the moment.
1.
I was so engrossed in the match at the end of the last frame, I've suggested that was the frame before the interval. Of course, this is the frame before the interval. 4 frames played in this session. Now needs a bit of luck, and he hasn't got it.
There is 1
6
available to the right middle pocket, but that was a good split. He deserves something easier than this one. He's cueing so well, he at the moment he feels he can knock anything in, but this is a tough one. He's on fire. He's on fire, the young man.
7.
Or the word they use these days about sport, he's in the zone.
Well, that was as good a potter as he's played in this match. That one shot has now given him a chance to score heavily again. Peter Ebdon has been kept off the table so much. He hasn't made a 30 yet in this session.
12.
Just nudged the red out of the way just to help free the black a little bit more.
19.
He's got into that too much. That's a much thinner snick on the black than it would have been. In fact, he'll have to use the rest. But he's missed 2 shots for the rest, and he's potted 31.
Knock one of the 2 reds safe
together
there. That's going to mean he has to get high on the black now if he can. Yes, he's okay now. He can go into them.
28.
If he doesn't fancy going into them, he could just stun over and leave the one to the left of the bunch. Anywhere near the white would do him.
$35. 36.
Well, just to think, Dennis, if he wins this frame, he's going to go to the mid-session interval, knowing that he just needs 1 more frame for a place in the World Championship final. And that's where his mentors and coaches and things need to really settle him down at the interval.
43.
It really is a
44.
truly remarkable performance. When you think he lost the first session 6-2 against someone of Peter Ebdon's class. This is a bit special from this young man.
51.
It's a break building I'm really impressed with, Dennis. This is his 3rd break over 50. It doesn't look like he can win the frame at this visit at the moment with pink and black out of play, but to make 3 breaks over 50 and a 47 in the other frame in the final session is really top draw. You'd expect it from one of the top 4 or 5 players in the world. It just shows you the strength and depth we have in the game.
You know, the pause there before he delivered that cue, he had to cue it absolutely perfectly, and he really did play that well to get so much topspin. Now watch the pause, and then straight through with a lot of topspin. He's looking good, and I bet he's feeling good.
Maybe classed as risky, but where pink and black are, and the fact that he's 57 in front, takes the element of risk away from that shot, and played very confidently as well to come in and out of baulk.
58.
Brown or yellow can get into the two reds near the pink.
He's got enough angle to swing round to get back on the blue again. He's looking at the scoreboard. The left of the two reds together, he can pop that and force an angle and get back round to the blue. No problem for him with the cue power that he has.
$63.
63 the difference. If he takes the green, he's going to need one more red. Well, Peter can't do anything about this performance. Well, that's a terrific shot as well.
Well, I've seen confident players.
66.
It's a long time since I've seen a player as confident as this.
67.
Yes, well, you'd think he was in the local club, and that's the secret. There's some great players out there, but there's only a few that can produce that sort of stuff under these sort of conditions, and this has been a brilliant performance.
Well, he's a little bit unlucky that there's a mid-session interval, because you'd fancy him to win the next frame without any doubt the way he's playing. But that 15-minute interval, Peter Ebdon will know that he'll start to think about getting to the final now, so Peter will take something into the interval. But he knows
72.
the winning line sometimes is the hardest frame to win.
73.
Well, if the next shot works out, he might make another century if he cannons the black and the two reds.
$78. 79.
Well, the century's a possibility now.
84.
I've known for a long time how good a player Shaun Murphy is. I must admit,
85.
I didn't realise he was this good. He used to play in all the junior tournaments at my club in Leicester. I've known him since he was a 14-year-old.
90.
Always had the perfect cue action. Always had the aggression.
And he was saying that he used to run after Steve Davis
91.
looking his autograph at the Crucible years ago. I think Steve Davis might be running after Shaun, looking Shaun's autograph the way he's playing here.
$96.
Well, he deserves a century here, doesn't he? This has been absolutely brilliant, this break. Pink's been out of commission, black's been out of commission
98.
for quite some time. This for his fourth century of the match. Remarkable.
101.
You expect it from an O'Sullivan or a Hendry. This young man is fastly becoming a possible world
105.
champion, it has to be said.
110.
Surely you can't knock these two in as well. There have been many breaks at the Crucible. There hasn't been many as good as that. That was really out of the top draw. Shaun Murphy's 1 frame away from the NBC World Championship final and leads 16-12.
There's very little technology in snooker today, and TTP is in the business of introducing modern science and technology into products, and snooker tables, for example, are products like that. The design of the table is passed down from centuries. John Thurston in 1826 designed the table, and since then the design of the table has remained unchanged. It incorporates very little modern science or technology. In fact, it's coming up towards its 200th anniversary at the moment. The design of the table itself is an 8-leg design made of wood with slate, and there's no reason why, with the benefit of 200 years of science since that was invented, we have to stick to that. We could, for example, use a 2-legged carbon fiber table, or we could use something to replace slate, say, for example, glass. At the moment, the bounce of the ball off the cushion is often non-uniform, and that is determined by the straightness of the cushion. So if it's curvy, then it won't be perfectly uniform. If the cloth were applied to the cushion in a very well-controlled way, and you were to validate that way of applying the cloth, and you were to say, we know that the tension in the cloth is within this range, then you know that the straightness is going to be perfect, and it's going to make the bounce perfectly uniform. So you could do that with a laser system, or indeed with an optical system. It is absolutely possible to make something which would replace even the cloth of the table. For example, you could have a laser-machined, microstructured material laid upon the bed, which is as flat as the bed because it's part of the bed, and it has the same surface properties, same softness, same friction properties, or similar to the wool cloth, without actually being wool. At the moment, there's no automatic scoring system, but all you would need is a means of sensing the different colors of balls as they pass into the pocket. You could either have a color sensor, some form of camera or other, or you could have something implanted into the balls that was sensed as it went into the pocket, and it would make quite an interesting difference to the game. Well, everyone has their pet theories about kicks, and if you knew what caused kicks once and for all, let's say you needed to get rid of chalk because chalk leaves chalk marks on the cue ball, and that causes kicks. If you wanted to get rid of chalk, you could have a chalkless Q-tip. If you found it was due to electrostatic charge, which probably isn't, then there are ways of addressing that problem as well. If it was due to temperature issues, like, for example, the ball changing its shape slightly because it's getting hot in one place, then you could address that as well by carefully designing balls with a cloth. It's absolutely possible to measure the spin and trajectory of a ball. So, for example, if you polarize the ball in some way, then you could pick up that polarization with some means of vision systems, and you could then say how much spin the player applied to the ball and what the trajectory of the ball would have been if it hadn't hit that particular ball. The image of snooker and making the game of snooker appeal to a younger audience, or the Xbox audience, is something which would potentially bring in quite a lot of popularity, and obviously if it appeals to a younger and wider audience, then obviously also going to start to attract sponsorship, so that would be good for the game. TTP hopes to kick off work in May, and we should have some results by Christmas, I'd say.
So that's for the future, very much of the present. Shaun Murphy, a frame away from the final. This young man had to play 2 qualifying rounds to get here, and now a frame away from the final itself.
Yes, and I think he'll get there as well. I mean, he looks as if he's in command of this match. It would be very hard for anybody to envisage, I think, that's been watching at home, that much of a turnaround in this session.
It's very difficult, though, to write off Peter Ebdon. We've seen him fight back so many times before, and only a frame from defeat. He was in here during the interval, practicing as much as he could, just trying to get his focus back on the game. Peter's the sort that won't give an inch at all, John.
Well, he won't give in. He's probably going to need a bit of help, to be honest with you. I mean, as well as he can play, he's going to have to play probably as good as he's played in the Championship, and he's going to need a bit of help, and Shaun Murphy missing a few. At the moment, that doesn't look possible, but you never know.
In a way, as far as Murphy is concerned, did the interval come at the wrong time? He was playing so well. Did he want to just get on with it and try and get the next frame, the winning frame?
Well, I'm sure he could have got to the finishing line had there been no interval, but you know, I'm not too sure it's the greatest time for Peter Ebdon, because it's very difficult to regroup when you have very little breathing space. But I think, you know, Shaun looks so composed and so relaxed. He knows he's only got to get one more frame. It's a lovely situation to be in. He has all that breathing space and room for manoeuvre. He can afford to miss a few shots. Peter can't afford to do anything wrong.
If Peter gets the first frame here, though, does that then just sort of start the potential of a wobble?
First couple, maybe. I think probably not. If he wins the next one, I don't think it's quite panic stations, but a couple might be.
We'll see. Here we go, the conclusion of the first Embassy World Snooker Championship semi-final. Willie Thorne and Dennis Taylor in the commentary box.
Well, what a reception for this young man from the Crucible crowd, and a pretty good break-off shot. Just one frame away for a famous victory and a place in the final of the Embassy World Championship. But as we know, Peter Ebdon, sometimes when the chips are down, and look at that little wry smile, he might just make a bit of a fight back of it. Don't be surprised if he does.
Yes, I think the wry smile was last time Shaun brought a red up off the break. He was snooky behind the green. This time he's brought the red up from the break. He's snooky behind the brown. A couple of bad break-offs from Shaun, but got away with it on both occasions, and this is half a chance.
Well, a little shake of the head, something you very rarely see from Peter Ebdon. And Shaun has got a chance to pop the red and just cannon the one to the left of the black, and he'll be in with a great chance. Sounds easy. Well, he's taking the alternate. That means he's playing for pink or blue.
One.
Well, this has left himself with a tricky cutback on the black. He had got a natural angle to play off for the blue or the pink, and, well, he's really feeling confident to leave this on. Right in the heart of the pocket.
Eight. Nine.
Peter Ebdon, in the 4 frames we've already had in this session, has only scored some 26 points. That's how much he's been dominated by Shaun, but I think it's gone astray there. That could be end of break.
That was amazing now to put himself out of position. It was a straightforward little cannon he was playing. This was the shot, just cannon the red full ball, but he hit it half ball. But what he's done throughout this tournament, and it's all credit to him, if he's run out of position or played a little careless shot, he doesn't bother about it. He just gets on with it. He takes his punishment.
Shaun Murphy, 16. Thanks, Shaun.
This is what happened at the mid-session intervals. His coach, Steve Press, shaking his hand and Shaun giving him a big hug. That's what he thought of the 4 frames. But he needs another one. And if he does get that other one, he'll get a bigger hug. This Crucible crowd really have taken to Shaun Murphy. And Peter, well, he's tapping the table in acknowledgement of that fine shot there. How does he get to that red that's near the top cushion? Well, it's virtually tight on it. He's going to have to come off 1, 2, at least 3 cushions to get there. This will be some shot.
Foul and a miss. Shaun Murphy 4.
He's in a bit of a hole here, is Peter. Might take a while to get out of this. Thank you, Ray. Not a lot happened since you left us on BBC One. He was in a bit of trouble when you left us. Pretty good shot there. When you left us on BBC One, this is the situation that Peter was in, and he played a very good shot here. Tried to get to that one we mentioned on the top cushion, missed it slightly, but he caught the other one, so it was a very good escape. Well, Willie's knocked a high percentage of this type of shot in. It'd be interesting to see how close he gets now that he only needs that one frame.
I think that's the key point, Dennis. The fact that this is the frame to win the semi-final. Fantastic shot. Very well played.
1.
Well, his fiancée there, I think she was delighted with that. I mean, this is some shot there. He's holding himself together so well, he looks as cool as a cucumber.
Scored 20 when he was last at the table, and
6.
perhaps felt he should have got more, lost position. Somehow needs to make about a 50 break from here,
7.
and he's in the final.
Well, you mentioned earlier about the breaks he's made, Willie. Quite incredible. Since frame 21, he's had a 95, 132, 62, 72, 123. Quite outstanding. And this could be the most important break of his professional career so far.
14. 15.
This may be his last ball from distance he has to play in this break.
20. 21.
Everything now is a series of little stuns and screws. Just needs to hold himself together. He's in the final.
Peter Ebdon can't do a single thing about this. If Shaun Murphy goes on to clinch this match, Peter Ebdon, the great sport that he is, will come forward and you'll see him talk to him for a while and congratulate
27.
him, but there's a few more balls to be potted till we get to that stage.
28.
'The thing about his play in this session, Willie, every ball he's potted has gone right in the centre of the pocket. Sometimes we see them wobble a little, but he's potted everything right in the middle of the pocket.
Yes, I passed him as he was coming out of his dressing room just to pass into the corridor, and he just said, "I'm seeing the ball so well." Well, you can't see it better than he's seeing it at the moment. We've seen Hendry, O'Sullivan, Higgins, Williams play this well, but they're seasoned campaigners. This guy's a rookie.
43. 44.
Well, he still looks so cool and composed. Amazing. Another great star is born, you would have to say, to the Crucible.
51.
This red could certainly cause a little bit of emotion in that balcony.
52.
That was Shaun's dad talking to his coach, Steve Prest, and they must be absolutely
59.
over the moon.
60.
It's hard to describe, well, we know how they're feeling, but it's hard to describe how you feel out there. He got a kick on the black, but I don't think he's bothered about that. Peter Ebdon comes forward to shake the hand of young Shaun Murphy. An unbelievable
match played by the young man and great sportsmanship shown by Peter Ebdon. I bet Shaun Murphy can't believe it, but he really is in the final of the 2005 Embassy World Championship. Well, they're going to make their way down to congratulate their hero. The whole of the Crucible are on their feet. They're standing, they're applauding. He has played some of the finest snooker we've seen for quite some time here. As he makes his way through to the dressing room, what a reception he'll get from his family and friends. Well done, Shaun Murphy. Commiserations to Peter Ebdon.
And then neither side took control of a second period that saw few chances.
There's his father, Tony Murphy, coming through. They all look very cool, but I'll tell you what, they will be feeling unbelievable at the moment. And there's his girlfriend. She doesn't know what's happening here. She's in tears. And there's the big hug from Dad, Tony. What a nice picture that is. Absolutely incredible. Well done, Shaun. You're in the final of the Embassy World Championship.
Well, he's looking remarkably composed at the moment about all that, but then again, he's been composed all week.
Yes, he has. That was a monstrous performance out there, and he did keep his composure. And I think there's been a growing realisation around the Crucible, backstage as well as the fans, that this guy's a world champion in the making. And I think probably, if he doesn't already know it, everybody else around the Crucible knows it.
Absolutely. I mean, every time he's been, there's been something there, a hurdle to get over, as it were, he's done it. But to play as well as that in the final 5 frames of that match, and play as well as that and compose and cue ball on a string, it really is dreamland stuff.
Well, Steve Prest was in the dressing room there, and I think Shaun on the way. There's Dan Tony. I think he's making the way through to see us. It'll be terrific to get a word with this young man, who seems to take everything in his stride, you have to say, throughout the week, whether it be, that's 3 former world champions he's knocked out now.
Yes, and I think he always had that confidence, that air of sort of being a bit older than his years, and also possibly that self-belief you need, that sort of, in a way, sort of arrogance as well, the fact that, you do believe you're somebody, even though you're not necessarily that at the time, but it's been proven right now.
We expected Peter Ebdon to always come back at him, and Peter never gives an inch. But when it was needed, it seemed like Shaun just had an extra gear there.
Well, there's not much you can do. It's the nature of the game. I mean, Peter just sat there today, basically, and watched Shaun Murphy put on a masterclass. And I'm sure he'd be magnanimous for Shaun's performance there, Peter, because he basically got outplayed in the final session. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliantly played.
Thank you. Congratulations, young man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We were just saying you seem to take everything in your stride, but sort of, what emotions are you experiencing at the moment? You're in the final of the Embassy World Snooker Championship.
Elation and shock. Just, I can't believe it. I woke up this morning feeling really sick, actually. Felt very nervous this morning. Didn't have any breakfast. Had to really force myself to eat any lunch, and that's something I've never experienced really before. And just so pleased to get through.
Yeah. As the game developed, you seem to be just improving frame by frame. We were thinking, really, Peter might come back now. Peter, you just never gave him a chance.
Well, that was my kind of sort of game plan. I just knew that if I gave Peter a chance to dominate, he would take it, and I just thought, I'll keep him long, keep him tight, and when I do get my chances, I'll try to, not miss any easy balls, and, 5 frames later, I'm in the world final.
Well, you've beaten 3 former world champions. One of them is sitting here. You used to chase him up the road and try and get his autograph. Peter Ebdon's another one gone. John Higgins another one gone. Everyone chases you up the road now for your autograph. And I'm sorry to keep you reminding you, you're in the final, and you dreamt about this for years, haven't you?
Well, in the words of Terry Griffiths, I'm in the final now. Yeah. And, I'm just going to enjoy that experience. I'm going to go out and give it everything I've got. And
you might have known it because obviously you had things to do, but Steve, your coach over here, I thought he was pregnant, by the way. He kept walking in and out of here. He was expected father or something. He actually came down from the balcony, he walked round here trying to watch, and he couldn't watch, so. But exceptionally well played. I mean, you can't dream about playing that well the final 5 frames.
Certainly not. I was just, came here with the idea of getting 5 frames before Peter did, and I had a kind of idea that it wasn't going to be pretty. But that's probably one of the best 5 frame sessions of snooker I've ever played in my life.
How much do you feel that your cue action has helped you to sort of withstand the pressure? Because I've seen you in the practice room. We've known for ages how good you were cueing wise and potting long balls. but it looks like even if you're under pressure, you're still cueing the ball very well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been cueing it that way since I was sort of 9 or 10. My dad taught me how to hit it that way, and, you know, it works for me, and I've been doing it, you know, like I say, since I was 10 years old, and I just trust it. And when the pressure comes on, I've got something that I can rely on, and, you know, when the heat's on, the ball seems to still go in.
When you had to get through 2 qualifying rounds to get here, sort of, what was your target at the start of this championship? You won the qualifiers, you come into the crucible again, getting over the first hurdle, of course. Did you really have in your mind, I have the game to go to the final and become world champion?
We'd said that I was capable of winning the world championships, you know, my friends and family and my coach and my dad and whatever. They'd said, you know, you could win the world championships. But I know it's a bit of a cliche, but we really were taking it one game at a time, taking one opponent at a time and seeing how far we could go. Had I have come here and got beat by Chris Small, we would have, you know, put the cue away for a month or two and would have been playing golf by now somewhere, and it would have been having a good time. But I'm having a much better time still here in Sheffield.
You've got a busy time, actually, because you've got 2 important days tomorrow, and you get married in July, I understand?
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, it's no rest for me.
Well, at least you're not struggling to pay for it now, anyway.
Yeah, the honeymoon's paid for.
You can have a big buffet at the wedding.
Claire was here today, and obviously you've had a terrific amount of support, because we all know there's a big team around you, isn't there?
There is, and, you know, that's the same with any sportsman. You know, Tiger Woods, it's not just Tiger. You know, there's a whole team of people, and I'm sure it was the same in when you were playing, and you, John. You know, it's not just you guys out on the table.
Not.
And I owe a big thank you to everyone that's been with me ever since I was a child, especially, you know, my dad who's helped me ever since I was 8 years old.
Absolutely. Shaun, stay with us. Let's just hear from Peter Ebdon now, who's been reflecting on his defeat.
Top draw. You know, nobody could have played any better than that. Shaun's a magnificent young player. I wish him all the best in the final. It was absolutely superb snooker. And you know, all you can do is just sit down and admire someone when they play, you know, that quality, that standard of snooker. It was an absolutely outstanding performance from 12 all. You know, I went into the final session feeling very confident. I felt very good going into it, but, you know, you need to have the odd chance or two, and he just played fantastic snooker. I don't think anybody could have played any better than that, and, you know, I can't give him any more praise than that.
Did anybody play better than that under that sort of pressure that you played against?
Well, it was just incredible, really. You thought that he'd be feeling it a little bit, but, you know, the balls he's potted and the breaks that he's made in that match, throughout that match, you know, all credit to him, good luck to him. He's a very entertaining player, very exciting player to watch, and, you know, if he plays like that, who's to say he's not going to win it?
Dignified in defeat as ever. How will you spend this evening before you come back here to play in the final tomorrow?
I'll probably go home and may even go up the driving range and hit some balls. I've been itching for a game of golf with John in particular over the last 2 weeks, and he keeps turning me down.
I keep working me too hard. I can't get out of the place.
But I'll probably go and hit some balls, and I've got a lot of things to work on in the golf as well.
Yeah, congratulations. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.